Good morning, everybody. Paul here from Warden's Farm. I'm getting ready to go through the last 5 hives here that I didn't go through the other day because I got too overheated. So these hives are still strapped down. We're going to unstrap them, give them sugar water, give them pollen patties, and we're going to see how they're doing. Check the queens, the egg laying pattern, and anything else that we can find in them. I got a cameraman today helping me, and this is Ben from Bottom Homestead. And he's going to be filming while I'm running around going through the hives, make it a little easier and give you all a little better perspective of what's going on. So without further ado, let's go jump in the hives. All right, these hives are all still secured down from when we were getting our last hurricane, but thank goodness it didn't come in. Not like we were expecting. But I'll leave all this stuff still connected so that if I end up needing to redo it because we get another hurricane, because we got one off the coast now and it's great for surfing, which I surf, and so doesn't Ben, but it's not so good for when you get hives and all that rain comes in.
It's great for you surfing, not me. I don't like those big waves.
So we're cleaning off the hive. Of course, this is the outer cover. It's got an inner cover. We're going to go ahead and pop this off. I got the smoker on standby just in case I need it. I try not to use it. And the first thing I do when I get into the hive, I look on the cover, check the bees that are out here, and you make sure there's no hive beetles. I don't see any. Doesn't mean they're not in there. See, there's a hive beetle right there. You can see that hive beetle. The bees are all over it, trying to chase it around. So what we're going to do is get it up here to the wood where I can kill it. Here it is. There.
There's another one.
Yep. And that's what Swisher sheets are made for. And I'll show you what I do with them here in just a minute.
Yes, they are.
And that looks good. And look at this side.
Yeesh.
That's all capped. So that's really good. And it's dark. So it's not sugar water. They're getting nectar from something. Maybe asters, but if it was asters, it'd have a smell like dirty socks, and I don't smell that. But it does smell good. I love the smell of a hive. And let's look at this next frame. As you can see, they're definitely filling it in, which is good. So they are definitely doing their job here, coming all the way across. And we're gonna go ahead and check this hive beetle trap and see if they've chased any in there. And I don't see a one.
No.
So that's good, but it also could be bad.
Let me get close to his mic here so you can't see my face, but this is the look of jealousy because he's got capped honey and I don't. So there's that.
But, you know, it's all just a start. Ben's in his first year beekeeping, and I'm helping him out, being his mentor. And all we can do is keep working it little by little. Let's take this one off. Bee's got it sealed big time with propolis.
Do you just leave your hive beetle trap on when you move it?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't.
Because I never stand it up on its side. You know?
I learned that lesson.
All right. Well, you know what? Since that wants to stay there, I'll let it stay there. Make it easier for putting on. So now we got a medium and we got a deep we're getting ready to get into. There's still drones in here. That's what your bees are doing. It could be from the direction that the sun's coming.
Yeah.
And like me, on the left side of the hive as I'm looking at it is where the sun hits. So that's probably why the bees are over here. But you can see there's nectar in there.
Yeah, there is.
So they got nectar there. Not so much on that side, but that's towards the outside.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to move a couple of frames over and try to see if the queen is laying anything in here. I do see drones. Quite a few of them.
Is that good?
It's, for this time of year, that's unusual. But they're all sticking their heads down in there like they want to eat. And that's all a drone will do this time of year.
So what could a lot of drones this time of year mean?
That the hive feels crowded.
Okay.
And they might want to make some queen cells. And I don't see any there. I'm just looking for the queen as I go. You can see there's a lot of hatched out brood right there.
Drone brood.
Yep. And if you can see down inside there, you can see there's larvae. And if I looked around, I bet there's eggs as well. Now this hive, I believe, has a red queen, if I remember right. So there's not much here for that. And I'm trying to see if she's got eggs in here. I see nectar on the outside. There's a couple of eggs, not many, but a lot of nectar. So we're just going to jump down into the bottom box after I check this center frame that's really fat. There might be some brood on this, but if not, we'll just close it up and move down below. Yep, there we go. There's some capped brood right there.
Some larvae.
Now, right there you'll see there's some pollen that's been in there, and they kind of capped it, and it's got a white look to it, almost like a mold. And that's probably from them not drawing the water out enough, and it might be fermenting, growing a little mold. But the bees will take care of that. But in all the open cells, there's larvae. Yeah, you can see the larvae over here. You can see the drones that my light's on right there. And I don't see the queen. So, is that charged?
No.
So,
Negative.
we're just going to take this box off. And they are packing this hive pretty good. Get out of there. There you go.
It's dripping.
So, I'm at a dilemma here. Do I let them go and not give them sugar water and let them go, or give them sugar water? When I get down in the bottom box, that'll tell me.
All right, so 2 questions.
Go ahead.
One, would you, about putting sugar water in during the flow that you clearly are kind of getting into, wouldn't that be frowned upon because it could contaminate your honey with sugar water?
Yes, yes.
So if you did that, would you then not harvest your honey?
I would not harvest honey then. I would just leave it for the bees to eat.
And then 2, with a frame like that that's not built or not being filled, would you not move it so they would fill it and have more room?
Yes,
Outside?
yes. I would, like this has a 2.5 gallon feeder.
Yeah.
That hasn't been fed. And as you can see, because the 2.5 gallon feeder takes up 2 frames, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames in here out of 10. I could probably fit in an 1/8, but it stretches the box too much. And you can see the bees with pollen. And you can see they started building this out, but they probably ran out of resources. And the bees are moving about really fast, really quick, so they're getting a little agitated. And we don't want to keep this open too long, because other bees will come and want to start robbing it out, and then we'll have just a fight on our hands. So I'm just going to do a few of frames down here, trying not to hurt any bees. there's a lot of bees.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my queen, because that's a brood frame that's been hatching out. There's a lot of larvae in different stages. They're looking good. I don't see any bees with any. Now there's a queen cell, I believe, right there. And it's a hatched one.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
No, nothing's in it. I thought it was hatched out. So let's pull that out. Let me take a look around here. See if I can see my queen. And I do not.
Have you seen any eggs yet?
On the upper frames, yeah.
Okay.
Come on out of there. I see so many bees with pollen on them. That's one thing when you get a lot of bees, you got to really look for the queen because they're moving so fast. And I'm also looking for K-wing, any deformed wing virus. And I don't see any of that. But there's larvae in different stages all over the place. There's some eggs right down there. A lot of larvae. So, since I've seen eggs, I know I got a queen. I'm trying to find a good area because she's laying all over the place. And this veil that I got on this one makes it a little tougher to see down in there. There's some eggs right there, but they're hard to see. And I know they're going to be hard to see on the camera. Right there, where the light is, if you look down in the cells there, it may show up on the camera, may not, where the bees just crossed. There's some eggs right there. So I'm just going to look at one more frame. And we're going to close it up because the next frame, like Ben said...
Lift it back up. I think I just saw the queen. Yeah, there she is.
Yep, there's our red queen. So guess what? We saw the queen, we've seen eggs. We're just going to close the hive up now. Let them start getting calmed down. So that way there's no robbing getting ready to happen. I am not going to feed this hive because they have goldenrod honey up on the top box. So let's get these bees off the side here. So we'll get this one, and I always go sideways, go nice and easy, let it rest, and then just move it slowly till you get the bees out the way, and hopefully none get crushed. They just get pushed out of the way. And now, because they're here, this is where I'm going to add a pollen patty for them. These I make up myself with the bee pollen and sugar and some 2-to-1 syrup. And I just score the top. That way the bees can get into it. They can get into it from underneath. And if you're not using a screen to hold these up off of there, that's why I use a small one. So the bees can get in there, they can eat it. The wax paper stops it from drying out, because if you took that off, it would dry out and then the bees wouldn't even want to touch it. And now we'll move the queen excluder up here and do the same thing. Nice and easy, keeping the pressure off. Got a couple. But as you can hear the hive now, the temperament is already starting to quiet down because it's getting put back together. And the bees that hang on the outside, I always try to shake them back in there. And this will make them happy getting closed back up. Any bees that are on the ground will find their way back. And now we're ready to move to the next hive. So when will I add sugar water to this? Since I'm going to be harvesting goldenrod from this one box, right after I harvest it, I'm going to start feeding them heavy with 2-to-1 sugar water. 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. So 2 pounds of sugar, 1 pound of water. And that way they can build up the stores, because you want them to have about 35 pounds of stores in here to get through the winter.